Welcome to the official English news broadcast of the Malankara Marthoma Syrian Church. In a historic step toward fostering Christian unity between the Malankara Marthoma Syrian Church and the Catholic Church, the members of the Episcopal Synod had an audience with His Holiness Pope Francis in the Vatican on November 11. The delegation from the Marthoma Church, appointed by His Grace, the Most Reverend Dr. Theodosius Marthoma Metropolitan, comprise the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Barnabas Suffragan Metropolitan, the Episcopas Right Reverend Dr. Isaac Mar Philexinos, Right Reverend Dr. Abraham Mar Paulos, Right Reverend Dr. Matthews Mar Macarios, Right Reverend Dr. Thomas Mar Titos, Right Reverend Zacharias Mar Abhayam, Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Ivanios, and the Right Reverend Matthews Mar Seraphim. The visit continues the dialogue started last year between the Marthoma Church and the Catholic Church, aiming to bridge theological divides and build mutual respect. During their time in Rome, the delegation will also attend a series of special conferences hosted by the Pontifical Gregorian University and the Dicastery for Promoting Christian Unity, which is dedicated to fostering collaboration among Christian communities worldwide. The delegation is expected to return to India on November 14th. The Malankara Marthoma Syrian Church commemorated the life of late lamented Dr. Joseph Marthoma Metropolitan, a great leader and ecumenical visionary. The memorial meeting was held at Bethel Marthoma Parish in Kottarakara, Panaveli, bringing together religious leaders and community members to honor the enduring legacy of Dr. Joseph Marthoma Metropolitan. The Right Reverend Dr. Joachim Mar Kurilos, the Suffragan Metropolitan and Diocesan Bishop of the Chenganur Mavelikara Diocese, presided over the meeting.
പാരമ്പര്യത്തിൽ ശ്രേഷ്ഠൻ, സ്വയം നേടിയ കഴിവുകളാൽ സമ്പന്നൻ, ബന്ധങ്ങളിൽ ഊഷ്മളത നിലനിർത്തുന്നവൻ, നിർമ്മാണപ്രദ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ വിദഗ്ധൻ, ഭരണതലങ്ങളിൽ നിപുണൻ. ഇനിയും ഒരുപക്ഷെ ഏറെ കാര്യം അദ്ദേഹത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയാനുണ്ടാകാം.
The Suffragan Metropolitan stated that Dr. Joseph Marthoma was a man of the word whose teachings were reflected in his lifestyle. Cardinal Basilius Clemis, Major Archbishop of the Malankara Catholic Church, during the memorial talk, spoke deeply of Joseph Marthoma's dedication to his faith and his courageous spirit.
Jani മേൽപ്പെട്ടക്കാരനിൽ സഭയുടെ പരമാധ്യക്ഷനിൽ കൂടുതൽ ശ്രദ്ധ കേന്ദ്രീകരിച്ചത് പമ്പ നദിയുടെ മണപ്പുറത്ത് പുലാത്തീൻ അരമനയിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരുമിച്ച് ഇൻ്റർ ചർച്ച് കൗൺസിലിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ തിരുമേനി വിശേഷപ്പെട്ട സമയത്ത് വിളിച്ച് പുലാത്തീനിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് നൽകുന്ന സ്നേഹവിരുന്നിൽ മാർത്തോമാ സഭയിലെ അഭിന്ന തിരുമേനിമാരെ വിളിക്കുമ്പോൾ അന്ന് തിരുവല്ലയിൽ വെച്ച് പലതവണ എന്നെയും ചേർത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഈ രൂപത്തിനപ്പുറത്ത് മറ്റൊരു രൂപം ഉണ്ട് എന്നെനിക്ക് ബോധ്യമായി.
Cardinal Clemis also recollected that Joseph Marthoma Metropolitan was a man of unwavering conviction and strong self-respect for his church. He was a leader who was never intimidated and always upheld the values of the Marthoma Church with strength and clarity, the Cardinal remarked. He highlighted the late Metropolitan's strong stance on ecumenism, describing him as a pioneer in bridging divides and advancing Christian unity across communities. The Vicar General, Very Reverend K.V. Cherian, the Sabha Secretary, Reverend A.B.T. Maman, the Clergy Trustee, Reverend David Daniel, the lay Trustee and Treasurer, Advocate Anzil Zachariah Komat, and the Parish Vicar, Reverend Raju Thomas, also spoke during the meeting. In response to rising concerns over the Waqf Board's land claims affecting residents in Munambam and Cherai, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Theodosius Marthoma Metropolitan called on the government and political parties to act quickly and decisively. With approximately 600 fishermen and residents in Ernakulam district facing the threat of eviction from their ancestral homes, Dr. Theodosius emphasized the need for immediate intervention to prevent further escalation of fear and confusion surrounding the issue. Addressing the sensitive nature of the situation, the Metropolitan urged political parties to adopt an open and constructive approach. The government and various political parties should seriously intervene in this matter to prevent disruptions to religious harmony and brotherhood in the country, Tirumeni stated. Under the Malankara Marthoma Syrian Church's Abhayam project, 11 more landless and homeless families now have a place to call home. The church has completed the construction of 84 houses through the Abhayam project, which was launched as part of the Golden Jubilee celebrations of Dr. Theodosius Marthoma Metropolitan. The Abhayam project aims to provide 150 houses for the homeless. In Ennekad Tundi at Tonipura, within the Thottapurusheri Panchayat, 11 houses and a community hall were constructed on 73 cents of land generously donated by Elia Mamatai. The blessings of these newly built homes were officiated by the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Barnabas, Suffragan Metropolitan. Also speaking at the gathering were the Vicar Generals, Very Reverend Dr. Isho Matthew and Very Reverend George Matthew, the Sabha Secretary, Reverend A.B.T. Maman, the Clergy Trustee, Reverend David Daniel, and the Abhayam Project Housing Coordinator, Reverend V.S. Karia. The Marthoma Suvisesha Sevika Sangham celebrated the centenary of Vanita Mandiram with a grand inauguration led by His Grace, the Most Reverend Dr. Theodosius Marthoma Metropolitan.
എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് ഈ വനിതാ മന്ദിരം പ്രയോജനപ്പെടുത്തുവാൻ തക്കൊണ്ടിടയാകാതെ പോകുന്നത്? നമ്മളുടെ കുട്ടികളെ വളരെയധികമായി വനിതാ മന്ദിരത്തിൽ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിനായിട്ട് വിട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നൊരു കാലഘട്ടം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ ഇന്ന് അത് വളരെ കുറവാണ്. നമുക്ക് കുട്ടികളില്ലാഞ്ഞിട്ടല്ല, ജനസംഖ്യാ കണക്ക് ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്ന ശരിയാണെങ്കിൽ കേരളത്തിലാണ് ഭാരതത്തിൻ്റെ മൊത്തത്തിലുള്ള സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിൽ കൂടുതൽ സ്ത്രീകളുള്ളത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് കൂടുതൽ സ്ത്രീകൾ ഉള്ള ഈ സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് വനിതാ മന്ദിരത്തിലൊക്കെ വന്ന് പഠിക്കുവാനൊക്കെ സാധിക്കാതെ പോകുന്ന നമ്മളുടെ യുവതികളുണ്ട് എന്നത് നമുക്ക് അല്പം അപമാനകരമായിട്ടുള്ള സംഗതിയാണ്.
The Metropolitan emphasized that Vanita Mandiram should not only educate but also instill life lessons and cultivate good practices, fostering a broader societal vision. The Metropolitan underscored that women trained at the institution should develop a redemptive role within Christian families and their communities. The event was presided over by the Right Reverend Dr. Thomas Mar Tithos Episcopa, President of the Sevika Sangham.
ഈ വനിതാ മന്ദിരം സ്ഥാപിക്കുമ്പോൾ പ്രധാനമായി ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത് അതിൻ്റെ ചരിത്രത്തിലെല്ലാം എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഒന്നാമത്തെ കാര്യം വേദ പഠനമാണ്. രണ്ടാമത് പ്രേക്ഷിത പ്രവർത്തനം. മൂന്നാമത്തത് സാമൂഹ്യ പ്രതിബദ്ധതയിൽ സ്ത്രീജനങ്ങളെ ശക്തീകരിക്കുക.
In the keynote address, Veena George, Kerala's Minister for Health and Women and Child Development, highlighted the institution's century-long contribution to the empowerment of women and its importance in shaping women leaders for the future. The celebration featured speeches from Matthew T. Thomas, Member of the Legislative Assembly, Dr. Ashwati John, Dean of the Senate of Serampore, Rachel George, General Secretary of the Marthoma Suvisesha Sevika Sangham, and Annie Thomas, Principal of Vanita Mandiram. The six-day Asian Theological Conference commemorating the 1700th anniversary of the Nicene Creed concluded at Zion Cathedral, the headquarters of the Lutheran Church in Kuala Lumpur. The event gathered 120 delegates from across Asia, reflecting on the contemporary relevance of the Nicene Creed under the theme Nicene Creed, Christianity and Unity in the Modern World. World Council of Churches General Secretary Reverend Dr. Jerry Pillay inaugurated the conference, setting a tone for deep theological reflection and unity. In his address, the Most Reverend Dr. Theodosius Marthoma Metropolitan highlighted the role of the Nicene Creed as being a symbol of ecclesial unity amid theological diversity, stating that it embodies the Church's commitment to fostering unity despite differing doctrines. Throughout the conference, 40 essays were presented exploring the creed's significance for the modern Christian faith. Distinguished religious leaders, including Basilius Marthoma Matthews III, Catholic Bava, Cardinal Sebastian Francis, Hong Kong Anglican Church President Timothy Kok, Bishop Parkumen and Bishop Ruel Norman Marigtsad shared insights on the Creed's enduring influence. Other notable speakers included Christian Conference of Asia moderator Dr. Matthews George Junakara, Malaysian Christian Council President Philip Thomas Co-Episcopa, and Lutheran Church President Bishop Francis Lawrence. The Mumbai Diocesan Bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Ivanios Episcopa, gave a presentation that emphasized the Creed's call to unity within the mystery of the Trinity. In the concluding message, Dr. Matthews George Junakara called for Christian theological visions that can shape faith communities, exemplifying unity in diversity. The first ever Canadian Marthoma Family Conference concluded successfully, bringing together 271 participants from various parishes across Canada. The three-day conference, hosted by the Toronto Marthoma Parish, was organized under the leadership of the Canadian Region Committee of the North American Diocese. The Right Reverend Dr. Abraham Mar Paulos Episcopa, Diocesan Bishop of the North American Diocese, inaugurated the event and commended the efforts to foster unity and spiritual growth among Canadian Marthoma families. The Reverend Dr. Philip Mathai, pastor of Mount Zion Lutheran Church, delivered the keynote address emphasizing the importance of family values and community engagement in today's world. The conference featured various sessions led by notable speakers and clergy, including the Reverend Dr. M.J. Joseph, Mary Philip, Tom Philip, Lena Matthew, the Reverend Abraham Rohan Thomas, and Georgie John Matthew. The Marthoma Church has been awarded a certificate of appreciation by earthday.org in recognition of his consistent efforts in environmental conservation and awareness. The accolade highlights the Church's commitment to promoting eco-friendly practices and fostering a deeper connection with nature within its community. The Marthoma Church has been active in organizing environmental awareness programs. Through initiatives spearheaded by its Ecological Commission, the Church has developed a comprehensive environmental code of conduct for its members, emphasizing sustainable and eco-conscious living. Earth Day.org's acknowledgement of these efforts underscores the Church's impactful role in advocating for ecological awareness and responsible stewardship. The North American Diocesan Senior Fellowship National Conference successfully concluded at Long Island, drawing over 300 representatives from various Marthoma parishes across the diocese. Centered around the theme, Dreamers of Dream, the conference celebrated the contributions and vision of senior fellowship members within the church community. The Diocesan Bishop, Right Reverend Dr. Abraham Mar Paulos Episcopa, inaugurated the event.
നമുക്കെല്ലാവർക്കും ചേർന്ന് ഈ കോൺഫറൻസ് ഏറ്റവും ഫലകരമായ വിധത്തിൽ നടത്തി പൂർത്തീകരിക്കുന്നതിന് ദൈവം കൃപ നൽകട്ടെ എന്ന് നമുക്ക് പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കാം. അതിനായി ഞാൻ എല്ലാ ആശംസകളും ഇത്തരുണത്തിൽ അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. എന്നെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ഇവിടെ വന്ന് ഇരിക്കുന്ന നിങ്ങളിൽ നല്ലൊരു പങ്ക് ആളുകളെയും 85 കാലയളവ് മുതൽ അടുത്തറിയാം എന്നുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഈ ഒരു കൂടിവരവ് ഒരു ഹോം കമ്മിങ് പോലെ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുകയാണ്.
The Vicar General, Very Reverend Dr. Shampi Thomas, delivered the keynote address highlighting the power of dreams and faith in the lives of believers. The conference featured a series of impactful sessions led by the Reverend Joseph John and Dr. George M. Abraham, the Diocesan Secretary, Reverend George Abraham, Senior Fellowship Vice President Matthew Vergis, Secretary Isho Maliakal, Kevin Thomas, Diocesan Treasurer George P. Babu, and the program convener Samuel Chaco also addressed the conference. During the conference, a souvenir was handed over by Korud Matthew and Matthew K. Thomas and was released by the Diocesan Episcopa. The Thoma Senior Citizens Fellowship Mumbai Diocese organized its annual conference. The conference, held over 3 days at the Animation and Renewal Centre in Panvel, Navi Mumbai, was inaugurated by the diocesan bishop, Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Ivanios Episcopa. The Vicar General, Very Reverend Thomas K. Jacob, delivered the inaugural address. The Reverend Dr. Abhayam Skaria, Principal of Dharma Jyoti Vidyapeeth, led various sessions. More than 100 delegates attended from the Mumbai, Kalyan, Navi Mumbai, Gujarat and Pune centres. Talks and discussions were held on the theme Harvesting Life Lessons for Well-Living and Actualization. The office bearers, Reverend Biju George, Reverend Aji John, Mr. Verghese Matthew, Mr. Abraham Paul, Mr. C.T. Thomas, Pannama David and T.D. Thomas led the event in various ways. The Department of Sacred Music and Communications will host Pulkutil Pukalam, a Christmas musical evening, as an announcement of the Christmas season. The program is scheduled to take place across 3 locations: Tiruvalla on November 30th, Sharjah on December 7th, and Chennai on December 15th. Choirs from each respective region will lead the musical evening. Preparations, including choir rehearsals, have already commenced at various centres. The Diocesan Clergy Conference of the Mumbai Diocese concluded at the Papal Seminary in Pune. The conference was inaugurated by the Diocesan Bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Ivanios Episcopa. Tirumeni emphasized the challenges and relevance of pastoral ministry in a secular world, urging clergy to continue God's work with dedication. The studies at the conference were led by Vicar Generals, Very Reverend George Matthew, Very Reverend Thomas K. Jacob, and Reverend Dr. Abraham Kurula. The conference also honoured the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Ivanios Episcopa for obtaining the Doctor Habilitatus, the highest academic degree awarded by the University of Bern, Switzerland. Diocesan Secretary and Conference Convener, the Reverend George John, presented the gift of honour to the Diocesan Bishop in recognition of this achievement. The conference concluded with a Holy Communion service. The annual conference of the Thoma Church clergy will take place from November 26th to 29th at the Christian Education Centre in Charalkund, Kerala. With the theme Shepherd, Space, Tumble, Stepping In, the conference will foster in-depth reflections and discussions on the Church's role in providing guidance and support within various contexts. The conference will be inaugurated at 6:45 p.m. on November 26 by His Grace, the Most Reverend Dr. Theodosius Marthoma Metropolitan. The meeting will be presided over by the conference president, the Right Reverend Matthews Mar Seraphim Episcopa. The meet will be led by the Suffragan Metropolitans, Right Reverend Dr. Joachim Mar Kurilos and Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Barnabas, the Episcopas, Right Reverend Thomas Mar Timotheus, Right Reverend Dr. Isaac Mar Philexinos, Right Reverend Dr. Matthews Mar Macarios, Right Reverend Dr. Gregorios Mar Stephanos, Right Reverend Dr. Thomas Mar Titos, Right Reverend Zacharias Mar Aprem, and the Sabha Secretary, Reverend A.B.T. Maman. Other notable speakers include Reverend Abraham Skaria, Reverend Jacob P. Thomas, Reverend Jolly Thomas, and the Chairman of the Human Rights Commission, Justice Alexander Thomas, and Dr. Aju Thomas. The conference will conclude in the morning of November 29th with Holy Communion celebrated by the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Ivanios Episcopa. Final remarks will be offered by His Grace Dr. Theodosius Marthoma Metropolitan, marking the close of the conference by 8:30 a.m. With that, we come to the end of the news. Thank you for joining us. We'll bring you more updates on the Thoma Syrian Church's activities and initiatives. Good day to all.